As Missouri lawmakers prepare to return to Jefferson City to start a new session of the legislature, one Republican state lawmaker has already filed a bill that would allow any teacher or administrator with a concealed weapons permit to carry guns in Missouri schools. Republican Representative Mike Kelly of Lamar is sponsoring the legislation and already has more than 20 co-sponsors. It comes in response to the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. Kelly is a Republican, and Republicans control both houses of the legislature in Jefferson City. How is the bill being viewed, Dave?
Well, by the general community, I don't think there's a lot of enthusiasm for it other than those who support Second Amendment rights. And of course, this is the argument they're making, not just in Jefferson City, but across the country, and really the argument that the NRA made, or a similar argument to what the National Rifle Association made, which is in essence the way to prevent these tragedies is to arm someone at the school, a teacher, a guard, some sort of person in authority. My guess is we're going to fight this battle out in state after state after state and in Washington this year as a response to the Sandy Hook
But he's got the support of the House Speaker and the House Majority Leader.
But I've been making some calls to legislators this week with the opening of the Missouri legislative session, and honestly, people don't really expect this to get a lot of traction. I mean, the House Speaker and Majority Leader, well, they signed on to burnish their NRA credentials and everything, but they have a lot to do and they know it. And I don't think anybody's really spoiling for a fight over guns this year. You know, especially because Governor Nixon has already said he would veto any kind of bill like this. There's probably not enough votes to override it. I think they're just going to let it sit in committee somewhere.
But I thought that Republicans now in the Missouri legislature have, as a result of this last election, enough members to override a gubernatorial
veto. But that
veto.
doesn't mean they're always all going to band together on every issue.
On a gun issue. Bill?
There's a school superintendent in a small town in Texas, Harrell, Texas, that claims he's got it figured out. And his method is the teachers that have gone through the necessary training, got the concealed weapon registration and whatever, they can carry guns, and they have what they call fungible bullets that will penetrate soft tissue but will disintegrate on solid tissue, and he says it works well. I suspect he's going to be getting a lot of calls.
Stacey.
Here's my problem with the bill. This bill, and we've looked at it, it's essentially an amendment to the concealed carry bill that's already law here in Missouri. It doesn't allow a parent to know whether a teacher that is in her child's classroom is carrying a weapon, whether the principal or an administrator. If I'm a parent and there's a teacher in my kid's class that has a gun, I want to be able to know. I want to know if that teacher's had a mental health screening within the past 6 months, the administrator too. It doesn't give parents that right. That's my biggest problem with this bill. And until that's addressed, I don't think anybody should be supporting it. It's a knee-jerk reaction that doesn't give parents a lot of right to know who's carrying a gun in their child's school.
Can I just say very quickly, Nick, that I think Barb's right that it probably sits on a desk somewhere, except for, and you'll see this in Kansas too, legislators spend the first 6 weeks of any session taking a close look at sort of social issues like abortion, gun control, you know, concealed carry, that type of thing, because the real tough questions of the budget and spending are often pushed off into the last weeks of the session. So there is a chance that this will come up early.